Welcome back. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says he was listening in during the phone conversation between Presidents Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine. The July 15th call is at the center of a Democratic impeachment inquiry against the U.S. president. Simon Pusey has more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom here in London. Thousands of people have marched in Hong Kong's central business district in protest against the shooting of a teenage demonstrator by police. The 18-year-old was shot in the chest during chaotic National Day protests on Tuesday with a live round and is currently in a stable condition in hospital. Protesters said they are disappointed by the police's actions. In all, police made 269 arrests, more than on any day since protests began.
I feel so angry and I feel so shocked because at the first moment I have a little bit hope for the Hong Kong police, but nowadays I'm so disappointed for the Hong Kong police what they done.
The UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson says there should be no doubt that the only alternative to the Brexit proposals he will put to Brussels later is no deal. Addressing his party conference in Manchester, the Prime Minister said his plan would be a compromise by the UK, but he hoped the EU would understand that and compromise in their turn.
We must have a new relationship with the EU, a positive and confident partnership, and we can do it. And today in Brussels, we are tabling what I believe are constructive and reasonable proposals, which provide a compromise for both sides.
The European Commission said they will examine the proposals objectively. One EU lawmaker, though, was not reassured by the speech.
You can see how he's misleading the people because actually he describes the EU as the enemy, but then he uses the words "or you friends." And he claims to love Europe, to embrace Europe by leaving it. Come on, how can this be serious?
The heaviest monsoon rains to hit India in 25 years have killed more than 1,600 people since June. The data released by the Federal Home Ministry shows that 1,673 people have died because of floods and heavy rains this year. Patna, the capital city of Bihar state and home to around 2 million people, has been badly hit, with many streets flooded with waist-deep water as rescue workers help injured people from their homes. The monsoon, which typically lasts between June and September, has already delivered 10% more rain than a 50-year average. Meanwhile, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has led the nation in paying homage to Mahatma Gandhi at his memorial in New Delhi on what would have been his 150th birthday. Modi, along with other leaders, offered flowers to the iconic freedom movement leader. School children and the general public also assembled at the memorial to pay their respects. Gandhi, who was born in 1869, played a key role in India's fight for independence. He was assassinated in 1948, just a few months after he led India to freedom from British rule through a non-violent struggle. North Korea may have fired a ballistic missile from a submarine, a move that came just hours after Pyongyang said it would resume nuclear talks with the US. South Korea's defense minister said a missile was launched near the port of Wonsan and flew around 450 kilometers before landing in the Sea of Japan. Pyongyang had said denuclearization talks with Washington could finally resume later this week. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said it was a violation of United Nations Security Council resolutions. The Las Vegas community have honored the victims of the deadliest mass shooting in the United States 2 years after it took place.
Christiana Duarte, 22, Redondo Beach, California.
The names of 58 victims were read out and a candle was lit in their memory at the ceremony at the Las Vegas Community Healing Garden. 2 years ago, gunman Stephen Paddock fired over 1,100 rounds from his hotel room into a crowd of 22,000 people at an outdoor country music festival. 58 people were killed and over 800 were wounded. Paddock killed himself before police stormed his room. In January 2019, the FBI announced it had found no clear motive for the shooting and closed the investigation. And finally, Britain's Prince Harry paid an emotional tribute to Africa and its people on the last day of his 10-day tour. In a speech to young entrepreneurs in Johannesburg, with Meghan by his side, Harry said he drew inspiration from Africans' generosity and resilience. He said visiting Africa from boyhood had helped him come to terms with the tragic death of his mother, Princess Diana, in a car crash in Paris in 1997.
Ever since I came to this country as a young boy, trying to cope with something I could never possibly describe, Africa has held me in an embrace that I will never forget, and I feel incredibly fortunate for that.
And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Welcome to Sports News. Defending champions Nigeria have been drawn against Cote d'Ivoire, Zambia and South Africa in Group B of the 2019 Under-23 Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt. Hosts Egypt are drawn in Group A alongside Mali, Cameroon and Ghana. The tournament will be played from November the 8th to the 22nd in Cairo, Egypt. The top 3 teams will represent Africa at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. To the UEFA Champions League, Mohamed Salah has scored twice as champions Liverpool defeated RB Salzburg 4-3 at Anfield. Morocco international Achraf Hakimi scored twice as Borussia Dortmund earned a 2-0 win over Slavia Prague. Barcelona came from behind to beat Inter Milan 2-1 with Luis Suarez scoring a brace. Olympique Lyon defeated RB Leipzig 2-0, while Zenit St. Petersburg compounded Benfica's woes with a 3-1 defeat. Super Eagles forward Victor Osimhen earned his first Champions League goal, but his club Lille slipped to a 2-1 defeat against Chelsea. Ajax hammered Valencia 3-0. That's sports news.
And the main news again, the Department of State Services today confirmed the arrest of the former chairman of the Pension Reform Task Team, Abdulrashid Maina, as DSS officials claimed his son pulled a gun on them while trying to resist arrest. That's it on the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.